What's up? This is Dez from DevilDriver, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Turn it up. Let's keep it heavy.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Dez Fafara, vocalist of DevilDriver. We're going to him back onto the show. We're going to be talking about DevilDriver's 8th studio album called Outlaws Til The End, which will be released July 6th via Napalm Records. So, Dez, how's it going?
It's going well, man. I'm just sitting home doing interviews and gearing up for the release of this record. So there's a lot of stuff going on. We've been very busy over here.
I tell you what, man, I'm very, very proud of you guys for doing this. And I'll get into that in just a little bit, because this kind of takes me back to when I was younger, when I was fishing with my dad and before he passed away. So this got a lot of ties to me. So first and foremost, thank you right off the bat for this.
More than welcome, man. I'm hearing that from a lot of people as well. And we'll go down the line on that in the interview. But we're hearing that a lot from people. Saying, thanks for doing this, and thanks for showing the link to outlaw country music and metal, and that in the United States there is definitely a link. And people who listen to, let's just say Black Sabbath and Pantera and Slayer, like they also listen to Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, and that's just a fact,
Yes, sir. Even I did. I still do to this day. It all ties in with each other.
People really didn't know that. I mean, especially overseas when I'm doing interviews with Europe and stuff, they don't realize that if you're tailgating at a metal concert, you're going to hear Willie Nelson right into Slayer, right into Johnny Cash, right into Metallica. It's like, that's just how it is. For years, I've been trying to let people know that that's how it's gone. Now with Outlaws Till The End, we're just going to put it out there and prove it.
What's impressed you the most about making this album, Outlaws Till The End? What's caught your eye about it the most, if anything?
The humility of the artist that I've been dealing with, and the humble place and the appreciation that it's put me in, the place of appreciation that it's put me in. This thing started out, first of all, me saying, look, I'm going to do outlaw country tunes, heavy metal. And people were like, wait, what? And then I said, I'm going to have guests. And I didn't want to do it without Randy, without Hank 3. And I really wanted John Carter Cash. I wanted the Cash family to have something to do on this. But as soon as we really did start forming this and it's starting to come into its own, I realized that a lot of people were hitting me up to be on it. And that was fantastic in itself. So really the humility around this project and the appreciation of everybody having to do with it, the fact that it's been 2.5 years in the making, and for another artist to even try to bite it off for trying to do something like what I just did, like go have fun, because it almost dug my own ditch, several times during the making of this thing. It was very hard to get done. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's when you asked me, like, what did you take from this? There was a spirit of camaraderie around this, not only with the band, but the players, but the individual guests and the label. And then there was something around the air of people that knew what we were really doing. Those who knew that we weren't doing a country record, those who knew we were doing a metal record of country tunes, like you could feel the electricity in the air around that. So that's what I've been taking from this project.
I know you like different styles of music, but why did you want to do a full-out metal outlaw country album? And was it difficult to pick songs for this record, man?
Well, 2 reasons. We knew it was going to be 3 years before we got another DevilDriver record, and I don't like to make people wait, so I wanted to give them something fantastic. 2, we've always done great covers. Our covers have, been fantastic. The people who like DevilDriver, they love the covers that we do, and I knew I didn't want to do what's been done before. So, right. Metal bands covering metal has been done, metal bands doing 80s songs, metal bands doing punk songs, and this has all been done. And I wanted to do something that hasn't been done. I've been a guy from the beginning of my career that likes to shake up things, from Cold Chamber to DevilDriver, and shake up the status quo. And because I'm not a purist, and I've always been the guy that's in your face going, no, I love blues, I love outlaw country, I love rock, I love music of all genres. This was something that I knew would be never been done before, first of all, and if so, hadn't been done right, and needed to be done by someone like us, and and bring in guests like we have. So it needed to be done. It just kind of put itself together, man. And then picking the tunes, we narrowed it down from about 50. And it was really down to the band and myself. Like, what do you really want? Like, Mike Spreitzer really wanted to do Dad's Gonna Kill Me. So we were like, cool, we're doing that, Neil really wanted to do 1,000 Miles from Nowhere. He loves Dwight Yoakam. So we did that. And then there was one we had to do. Whiskey River is a black metal tune with Randy and from Lamb of God and myself. Ghost Riders in the Sky features me, John Carter Cash, and Anna Cash, and Randy. Most of it done at the Cash Cabin in Nashville, where I got to sign, one of the biggest honors in my life. I got to sign the mantle at the Cash Cabin that Johnny and his son put up, that everybody, that has rolled through there has signed. And I'm like one of the only metal cats that have signed that thing. So
that's awesome.
There was some real magic around this that was incredible and really hard to explain. When I first pulled up to the Cash Cabin, John Carter was outside. He had made us some food. We came in, and man, he spent the first hour telling me his love of heavy metal, how his dad, John Cash, took him to see Ozzy and showed me pictures of that when he was like 10, and went into his love for metal. I went into my love for the Outlaws and outlaw country, and how the lyrics for me are the most poignant on the planet. And it was a real meeting of the minds. So this thing coming together, man, it's just been it's been a work of love, really, and a work of passion.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions on through here, was how special was that conversation with you and John Jr. on this, man? I mean, that's got to be a top priority right there, man.
Right, and pretty incredible, man. I mean, there's a lot of cats that are on this thing that are great friends of mine. Obviously, I've known Hank III for, since I was fucking youngin', and getting a lot of these guys on here that were friends of mine, but I wasn't friends with John Carter at this point. And now that family and my family and Anna and my wife Anastasia go back and forth. John Carter and I talk, weekly, and actually John Carter has talked to me about doing some other stuff that he wants to do along this lines, featuring his father's music. And I am probably now one of the guys that's going to help him put that together, out of the love of John's music, of Johnny Cash's music, and the love of metal. There may be some other stuff coming down the way, but so let's see really what's going to happen. Becoming friends with that family is a real humbling thing, and I'm appreciative of any time I can meet an artist that I look up to, or looked up to his father, or find out that he's a great individual, a great artist himself, and his wife Anna really has one of the best voices I've ever heard in my entire life. She's been trained since she was like 7 classically, and she's unbelievable on the microphone, man.
I would say at least 2 to 3 times a week I'm jamming out the old stuff, Johnny Cash, Dwight Yoakam, and I don't care. That's what I like, and that's what has stuck out to me during our previous interviews that we've done. You've stood by your old school ways of music that you love, and I like that. Well,
it's a real, especially when you're dealing with metal, right? It's a strange, there's certain genres when you're dealing with metal or punk rock, you're talking to a punk rock person about something that's not punk rock. You're talking to a metal person about something that's not metal. They always want to come out of pocket and be like, well, I don't listen to that shit, or I only listen to metal, or I only listen to punk rock. Like those two genres, it's like you almost can't bend those people. And what I'm doing is going, no, I'm the powerhouse on the other end of this bar, and I'm going to bend you. And I'm going to bend you people to hear exactly what's going on. So, trying to go into a genre metal and do something like we're doing is not the easiest thing. But I love to shake it up. I love to mix it up. I'm the guy that's coming into the party, throwing blows and getting loud. Like, let's do it. And so that's what's happening with Outlaws Till the End. We're coming in, we're shaking up things, and I'm feeling good about it, man. Early on, somebody I look up to a great deal in this industry is an older guy in the business. He said to me early on, I was doing this. He said, I don't know if this is going to be good for DevilDriver. I don't know if this is going to be good for the name DevilDriver, the brand DevilDriver. I don't know why you would do this for DevilDriver. Maybe this should have been a Dez record. And I told him, I said, dude, you obviously don't know what I'm doing. You don't know the route we're going. You don't know the kind of music we're going to do with this. And he said, well, we'll see. I sent him the record last week. I got the longest email I've ever gotten back from somebody in the industry apologizing saying that, he'll always back me. He'll never second guess me ever again. And this isn't a guy we don't even do business together. He's just a huge businessman in this industry, and he runs a lot of massive bands, and we're friends. We have been friends since I was young, and I run a lot of stuff by him because he's in his late 60s and he knows what's up. And he said to me, man, I don't know if this is going to be good for the brand or not. And when he heard the record, he said, not only this is going to be good for the brand, but this is going to be good for Dez. And I said, why? He said, you've always been a guy, Dez, to break genres, to break open new genres, to stick your middle finger up in the middle of genres. When people are telling you that, they love Cold Chamber, that it's heavy, and they love Loco, and you're saying, well, I've got more in common with Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy than I do Metallica. You've always been a guy to shake up things. So that's what Outlaws Till the End is about. It's about shaking up things. And it's about showing my love of different genres, man, For sure. And I'll back you too, man. No shit on that. That's for sure. Right on, man. I mean, look, it's the guy that's lived in the U.S. his whole life and has been to metal gigs that's going to enjoy this, It's the country fan that loves to hear a different take on country that's going to hear it. It's why we got Rolling Stone Country as our partner, because they were really intrigued on this for our release. And I think that heavy metal fans may like one or two country tunes. When they hear this, they're going to know this is one of the most brutal records we've ever released too, man. I mean, this is a ferocious side of DevilDriver that people haven't heard as well. So it's also another take on us, and I think people are going to love it.
Out of all the great musicians, Dez, that's worked on this album with you, is there anyone on it that surprises you on a cover that they did that's like, wow, that was freaking amazing?
I'll tell you what, everybody really came to the table. And I've been fortunate over my career to work with a lot of different artists. And I certainly don't like to be the guy to name drop. But over my career, I worked with, guys like Ozzy and Nikki Sixx and Samo. And I've been fortunate that those cats have taken me under their wing and worked with me. Now it's a situation where I'm taking guys under my wing and working with them. So watching Randy from Lamb of God track and hearing him say that, me to say wow, man, I've never watched you track. That was so killer. I didn't know you did this kind of a thing with your voice. For him to say oh no, Dez, I do these ramp up things. I actually ripped you off on what you do. Or to be working with Lee and to have him say that is, amazing. Or working with Lee Ving, watching Lee Ving lay tracks. And then for Lee to say to me, well, I got a country band called Range War. I love country. It's wait, what? Lee Ving is a hero of mine. I was 15 years old the first time I ran away from home. I had a Fear shirt on. Now I've got Lee Ving calling my house, singing Hank Williams songs on the phone to me. These are the things that you take from this. Who killed it? Everybody killed it. Every artist fucking killed it. John Carter Cash and Anna killed it. Brock from 36 Crazy Fist brought it. Wednesday 13 on Drinking Don't Kill Me brought it. Burton C. Bell from Fear Factory, let me tell you right now, on Dad's Gonna Kill Me, it's the first time I've heard him sound the tonality of his voice, the first time I've heard him sound like the first Fear Factory record. And when I said to him, Bert, I've never heard you sound like this, except that first Fear Factory record. What were you doing? And he says it on the EPK. Hey, you guys will get to see it when we release it next week. He says, I was channeling my real self.
Oh.
So there's some scenarios that came up. There's some scenarios that came up through this that are fantastic. And I learned a great deal working with every single artist that I worked with, man. I mean, watching John Carter track, watching Randy track, watching Lee track. I didn't get to see Brock track or Wednesday track, but those songs they did fucking are fantastic. So look, I think everybody came to the table with this thing.
How is working with producer Steve Evitz? I hope I pronounced his name right. Evitz. He's worked with, Dillinger Escape Plan. How's working with him on this?
Man, he's worked with a lot of great acts, man. I mean, he's worked with the Cure, dude.
Yeah, Sepultura, Every Time I Die.
Well, yeah. And so, okay, this is my kind of test to work with him, because I was looking for a new producer to get ready to do what DevilDriver's getting ready to do. We're getting ready to enter the studio again to do something that's unreal. I was going to say it's just unreal. We're getting ready to go into the studio right now with music we've been working on for probably 2 or 3 years. And I was looking for a producer to work with. And so I said, I'm doing this cover record. Let's see if this guy can work. I love the sounds that he gets. And he was fantastic to work with. He draws it out of you. He won't let you be lax. I never am anyways. I'm always the kind of guy like, was that good enough? And if he's like, yeah, it was perfect, let's move on, I still want to hear it to make sure. But I think he understands the way that DevilDriver works, and we're doing the next records with Steve Evans for sure. He just signed on for it.
That's awesome. That is really cool, man.
And we're getting ready to, and this is why people are getting Outlaws Till the End. I've always been a guy that wants to release a record every 2 years. When I was younger, you got a record every single year from your favorite band. Somewhere down the line, people started to make it 2, 3, 4 years between records. And I don't know what happened in the music industry or what made people think that that was workable, but it's coming back now to the point where, no, you better get a record out every year and a half, 2 years if you want to keep up with the audience demand. And so we knew it was going to be 3 years before they got the next DevilDriver record. That's why we're putting out Outlaws Till the End. Give them something special. But I'm going to be releasing a record every 16 to 18 months from here on out, without a doubt. And I'm going to step up my game so hard with releases and with touring that I'm going to show other bands how to do it. Because bands waiting 3, 4, 5 years between records, well, we've seen what's happening to their careers now. If they release a record and it's bad for them, if the fans don't like it, or if the press doesn't like it, they've waited 4 years now. Now they've released a record that nobody digs. Now their career is fucked. If they were to release that same record in 18 months or in 2 years, they can just get right back in the cycle and come back from it. But that's not what's happening. So, look, we've been very fortunate over here that we as a band, like, we know what we're doing. We got our ears to the ground. We don't look at what anyone else is doing around us. We do what we want to do. And we know we've got to step up our game with the release of more and more and more music. There's no way I'm going to go into a studio like I did with Trust No One, and there's like 14 songs left that like got recorded and we never even used them. And I'm not the type that's going to go use those songs on another record, use those songs 3 years from now, use those songs for anything else. It's like those were those songs during that time, and now they're done, which means there's 14 tunes from the last record that fans will never get to hear. And we've worked as hard easily on those 14 as we did of the 11, 12, whatever was on the record. And I said to the label, this is ridiculous. And those songs didn't get left off the record because they were bad. They get left off the record because, let's face it, you can't have a fucking 2-hour record. And they were and some of the songs were our favorites, man. And 2 of the songs actually were the label's favorite, and they got left off.
The reason why this album resonates with me so much is because it takes me back to a happy place. My dad's passed away. It's been 18, 19 years now, but it takes me back to when I remember going fishing with my dad. Yeah, I'm Southern. I don't care who fucking knows it. That's what we do here. We love it. So,
right. Yeah, man. And I'm sorry for your loss, man. And,
Thank you.
I've heard this from other people as well. Like I used to listen to that music with my dad, or whenever my uncles would come over and barbecue, I would have to listen to that stuff. And now, like, later on in my life, I've come to love that. Yep. Or, there's a relatable thing with country music that is very relatable to a blue-collar working-class background, which was what I come from. My stepfather was a contractor. I was on the job site at 7. I know what it's like to work hard. I ran away from home at an early age. Everything I got, I worked for. So that kind of music, it just, it's reality. Like, it's reality-based. Like, when you hear a lyric like, if drinking don't kill me, her memory will.
Yep.
Like, I want to shoot myself because I didn't write that lyric.
Yep.
It's so real. So yeah, there's definitely something that goes along with that. And when you hear this stuff, you're going to be like, oh man, I used to listen to that with my dad, or I used to listen to this music with that. And what's cool is when you hear this record, you're still going to hear those songs. You're just going to hear our versions of it. So like when you hear Whiskey River, Randy from Lamb of God said it best on the EP. He's like, I expected to hear a country tune, and it sounded like Dark Throne. So, you know what I mean? And so, but there are versions of what of tunes that we love. And, I'm glad you're going to get a little piece of maybe, what your father and you used to listen to.
Sure.
In metal, in metal versions. I think it's cool, you know. And had he been around now,
oh, he would love it.
Had he been, you know what I mean? You know, you could probably play him this stuff and be like, Dad, listen to this.
Yeah.
And he'd probably be, wow, you know, like these metal guys really bit off my country. That's cool.
He would have loved it. I know for a fact he would, because if Drinking Don't Kill Me and The Ride, those two songs, man, are just so badass in any way that they put out there.
I tell you, yeah, and those songs, I mean, I'm sober now, almost 2 years. But when I used to drink, you know, that was 4 a.m. on me. No,
Wow.
4 a.m. on the bus, listening to The Ride, literally over and over and over and over, going, this is fucking perfect. It's perfect. It's the perfect song. It's fucking perfect. Like,
it is.
And a lot of these tunes, and it is. And a lot of these songs on here, they're perfect. Like, they're perfect tunes. Like, whatever point those guys were at their life when they wrote those tunes, like, they're perfect, you know? And like, we did Ghost Riders, and it's not written by Johnny, but arguably enough, it's one of Johnny's biggest songs ever, right?
Right.
And so to have John Carter on that and Randy, like, wait, have you heard the record?
Some of it.
Man, I'm telling you, just get through the record. Like, listen to the record, and you'll hear what I'm saying. That I think everybody just came to the table so hard, man. They really did. Everybody gave their all for this. In the EPK, I forget who's talking about it. One of the guests is talking about it, but it wasn't like people were just, oh, cool, you know, we'll guest on your record. No, like, they were way into it. Like, when they did their vocals, they were making sure everything was on point. Like, they knew they were part of something special. And that's what brought so much humility and so much appreciation from me to this project is really the dedication of the other people, even the people who couldn't make it. Like, Danzig was the first person that I called, and he was like, I'm in. And so after he said, I'm in, I called the label and said, this is what I want to do. And they backed my play. And then Glenn was like, dude, I can't. I'm so involved with this record I'm doing and the Misfits stuff. I'd love to, you know, if it comes around again. And I was like, fantastic. So even to hear that kind of thing from, you know, somebody that I look up to is fantastic, right? I mean,
for sure.
Like, even the people that aren't on the record, is what I'm saying, are down with what we're doing, you know? So, you know, it's good to see.
And what I like is there's
good to see the camaraderie.
And oh God, yeah, and especially what I like to see is there's different vocalists on here. I mean, you mentioned Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. I mean, take his vocals and put it on this. I mean, my God, that's a treat in itself right there, man.
I'll tell you too. We you know, he was just supposed to do Ghost Riders with me and John Carter and Anna Cash. But when he was here, he's a good family friend. We're in business together we have a business together called Sun Cult. It's a surf company that we do. I just brought him in as a partner for that.
Oh,
and
nice.
He's at the house a lot, you know, and he's at the house a lot. He's getting ready to come this weekend. He lands on Thursday to stay 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. So when I said to him, do you want to do Whiskey River? He was like, yeah, sure. Let me hear it. And I think when he heard the track is when he was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. So let me tell you that my voice and his voice on Whiskey River, it's the highest register, the most the highest register I've ever heard him use in his screaming voice, and a higher register than I've ever used in my past, put together on Whiskey River. That's a black metal song. That's a Willie Nelson tune. It's something so out of the box, fucking insane that it's like, I mean, it's so heavy. It's so out of the box insanity that it's like, it's perfection, you know? And my wife said it when we were listening back to the record. How come no one's ever done this? Yeah. And I said, because it's dangerous.
It is.
It's dangerous. It is. A metal band saying they're going to go cover country songs. It's fucking dangerous. But you know who can do it? DevilDriver. Because we can cover Wasted Years, and we can also cover Sail by AWOL Nation. Because we straddle all music. If people don't paint me into a fucking purist, I'm not a purist whatsoever. And I don't get along with purists. You know, purists, especially in metal, those are the people that, like, they only want to hear songs about fucking dragons and shit. I've never fucking seen a dragon.
Me either.
Do you know what I'm saying? I've never seen a dragon. I don't know what it's like to fucking, you know, I don't, you know, you're talking about like on the battlefield in the snow with swords and I've never fucking been on the battlefield in snow with swords. So why are you writing about it? And you know what's great? Either of you So you're sitting there in your leather pants writing that shit. It has no fucking realism towards your life. It has no fucking reality in anyone else's life that's fucking listening to it. So how do you as an artist even write that shit? Like, I guess out of imagination, I like to write shit from reality about a real life. And I don't write anything from fantasy. You know, about a life where I ran away from home at fucking 15. I went to prison. There's a lot of shit. I'm not going to write about dragons when I can fucking write about being behind bars or losing someone in my life that I love or watching shit go down the toilet, you know, or the good times even. But it's all got to be reality. I got to write it about reality. And that's why we covered these songs, because I can take these lyrics, I can listen to them over and over and over. And when I sing a song like, you know, 1,000 Miles from Nowhere, it's like, hello, I've been on the road for 25 fucking years.
Yeah.
I missed one of my kids graduating from fucking high school because I was on the road. Like, I've lended myself to people who have followed me and my art for 25 years. And I'll tell you this, I'm not letting them down with this record. So yes, this is why it's never been done. It's fucking dangerous. Not a lot of people want to try to bite it off. It took over 2 years. It almost fucking had me digging in my grave several times just trying to get it done. But in the end, anything that's good in life, whether it be art or a relationship, does not come easy.
No.
And whenever I hear and whenever I hear an artist say to me, "Oh, dude, we just got done with the record. Fuck, it was the easiest record ever. We had the best time. We had such a good time partying and making that record. Oh, it was so easy." I'm like, I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear it. Don't ever send me the record, because I guarantee you it's going to suck. It's going to have no passion behind it. There's got to be, you know, things that are hard to come by. Those are the things that are worth anything in life. Keeping it, getting it, holding on to it, having it.
Let's talk about when DevilDriver takes this out to the road. Are you going to incorporate these songs, hopefully, of course, into the set?
You know, this was not built for that.
Okay.
Do I think we go out and we do these? I don't know. There's only a few songs I didn't do with guests because I just didn't want, like Outlaw Man from the Eagles. Outlaw Man, you know, like I just didn't feel like I wanted a guest on that. So will we go out and do that? Maybe, because it's fucking heavy. But I don't see this thing living without the guests. And then to try to do what I want to do is going to be another insane thing to do because you got all these guests. But I'm going to try as hard as I can this year, next year, whenever I possibly can, whenever all of these artists at once, all of these guests are off tour. I'd like to get all of the singers on one bus for 5 days with all the crew on another. I'd like to go to Nashville, LA, New York, Vegas, and one other spot, you know, and do the whole record in its entirety and film it for a pay-per-view, for a record, for a live record, for a DVD, for whatever. And if we swing into Nashville and Hank 3 is like, "Hey, I'm coming out to the show," yeah, we'll do Country Heroes. If I'm swinging through LA and I know Lee Ving is coming out, yeah, we'll do the ride because Lee guests on the ride, you know? So, yeah, man, I mean, Lee also does the spoken word for The Man Comes Around.
Oh, nice.
You know, the beginning spoken word for The Man Comes Around. And God, he fucking nailed it, bro. It's all shaky and it's so well. So that's how this will exist. But it's not a cover record. We're just like, we're taking it out. We're adding 3 or 4 songs. Like, nah, that's not happening.
Folks, there are a ton of people that's on this album. This album is out July 6th.
Yeah, July 6th.
July 6th via Napalm Records. Please pick this up. And I know I'm definitely going to buy this album because, like I said, this is a huge cornerstone in my life. So, like I said, these songs resonate with me. But please pick this up. Please pick this up because, like Dez said, this is the God's honest truth. This is taboo, but I'm telling you right now, if anybody can do this, Metallica's one of them, and frickin' DevilDriver is another one that could hit this perfectly.
Right on. I appreciate that, man. And, you know, like, we're doing this thing, too. There's a pre-order right now. There's links out right now. You can go to Indie Merch. You can go to Napalm Records. You can pre-order it right now, and you can get some really cool bundle stuff, man, like vinyls and belt buckles and flasks and specialty T-shirts that are only going to come now with the pre-orders. You're not going to see that stuff on tour. You're not going to see it after the record launches. So now would be the time to get involved with with this record, with DevilDriver. Get a pre-order in, get a bundle, get a vinyl that no one's going to have in the future. Because I made it a point to only do limited stuff on this. I said I don't want to tell people that's a limited shirt and then run another printing of it, right? So
right.
We put together some real special stuff here. So, look, you can go to my Instagram at Dez Fafara or DevilDriver Instagram. You can go to our Facebook and you can get all the info there. But definitely we want everybody on board with this thing. And as we, over the next, I would say it's going to start tomorrow, but we're going to start leaking EPKs, which we got 7 or 8 of those with like 3-4 minutes long each with all the people talking about it. The record, we're going to start putting out the singles. You're going to start getting a lot from this record in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
That's awesome. Looking forward to it, my friend. Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. What do you want me to say? What's up? This is Dez from DevilDriver, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Metal Hour. Turn it up.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up. And you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thanks so much, Dez, as always.
Take care, brother, and I appreciate it, man. Can't wait to hear what you think about this record, so feel free to email me.